Well, Greenville County students enrolled in virtual online learning will not see any changes. However, a different process is underway for those planning to attend in-person classes. Here to talk with us and break it all down is Tim Whaller with Greenville County Schools. Tim, first, thanks for being with us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me on, Ted. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. Now, we do want to kind of start asking some of the questions we've gotten into our newsroom. We know the first week of school has been set. Is there any, inkling as to when officials are going to assess the schedule yet again?
You know, we're looking at this COVID-19 spread rate really on a day-by-day basis, and we're always hoping for good news. In addition to following these metrics from DHEC, we're having daily conversations with local hospital officials, and by that I mean the folks at Prisma Health, Bon Secours. So we're looking for a better trend where COVID-19 is concerned. It's hard to say at this point when we're going to be able to set attendance plan for week 2. But I'll tell you, we're always going to give parents the earliest possible notice where this is concerned. Dr. Royster has promised at the very least a 5-day heads up on what a new attendance plan might be.
Yeah, and that's definitely very helpful for parents throughout the planning process, which is very much appreciated. Now, for the, in-person instructions, do we know what class sizes are looking like at this time?
Yeah, so on attendance plan 1, if you think about how it works, and it's easier to envision when it's there on that chart taped to your refrigerator than it is to explain out loud in a conversation. But if you think of how attendance plan works, we have students broken into the 4 color groups, which is blue, red, green, purple. Each of those would go on their assigned day. So because of that, we're looking at about 25% of the total class population per day. If I had to do some quick math, I'm thinking class sizes could range 5 to 8 students, maybe more, depending, but right around there. So we're looking at small class sizes, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, and I know a lot of parents, aside from class sizes, we're hoping to maybe get a better picture on what the days back at school would look like. We know leap days are set for grades 5K through 8. What about high schools? Is there anything planned for those heading into 9th grade?
Not really. The South Carolina legislature came up with the idea of leap days, basically a time for school districts like ours to assess where the younger students stand on their different subjects, because we all know that COVID-19, when it hit back in early March, and we had to shut down schools by the middle of March, that was a very disruptive process for students. So the legislature wants to make sure that the younger students have an opportunity to catch up if need be. High school students are really not affected by the leap days. However, we're telling our high school students, including the rising 9th graders, that during Leap Week is a good time to stop by their school, make those arrangements ahead of time to pick up their school-issued Chromebooks.
Okay, yeah. Excellent. Make themselves familiar with the material before they kind of jump into the thick of things. Now, we do know subs will also kind of be in high demand around this time. Is the district working on bringing in more subs in case they're needed?
Big time, yeah. We're looking to hire, honestly, about 300 substitute teachers over the next 2 months.
Wow.
That's a very ambitious number, and as you said, they're in high demand. So this goes for all school districts across the upstate. We lost some subs, understandably, during the last part of the last school year because of COVID-19. So we need to regain a lot of those as we start a new school year. Some of the substitute teachers that we were using have actually, because of their degree that they have, they've actually been hired on a full-time basis to teach in our virtual program. So now they're not available to teach on a substitute basis. So we need to fill fill those vacancies.
Absolutely. And just one last question here as we have about 15 seconds here, Mr. Whaller. What is the district going to do with kids that might have a prolonged allergy, or if a child has a runny nose, common cold symptoms? What's the protocol for them to return back to classes?
We're telling families, if you don't feel good, if children don't feel good, if they have a runny nose, stay home and err on the side of caution. I know parents are deeply concerned about the 10 absences that are allowed, and that's according to the State Department of Education. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say that people now have an unlimited number of absences, but we're in a position, we're at a place now where we understand that kids are not always going to feel good. We don't want them to risk it. What we do want them to do is communicate with their teacher if they have a runny nose, stay home, find a way to catch up on that schoolwork, and we'll figure it out from there.
Absolutely. Tim Whaller with Greenville County Schools, thank you so much. We'll, of course, be staying in touch.